Hello everyone and welcome to Normandy.
In this video, we're setting off on an incredible road trip across the heart of Normandy, exploring gorgeous towns, castles, countryside, coastlines, art, islands and sunsets before heading into Paris to finish off our road trip in the iconic City of Lights. We begin in the UK, enjoying the white cliffs and the 800 years of history at Dover Castle, whilst waiting for our ferry to cross the English Channel. As we arrive in France, we take the short drive south to Rouen, which is the largest city in Normandy, famous for this medieval clock tower that spans one of the many beautiful streets, and the iconic Notre-Dame de Rouen. This cathedral was built over a time span of 7 centuries and is actually one of the tallest religious buildings in the world. And after walking through the streets, we find the Musée des Beaux-Arts, which is home to many beautiful works, including some of the works of Claude Monet, which Rouen is famous for, specifically the cathedral, as this is Monet's painting of the cathedral. He loved painting this cathedral at different times of day to see how the light reacted to the intricate architecture.
That village, this village I can see just down there, prime example of these Normandy villages, some of the most beautiful villages. You would almost think that somebody had planned it specifically to just look perfect in every way. But Château Gaillard there, overlooking the Seine. As far as I can see there is just trees, a few villages dotted here and there, but so much space just for nature to flourish. It's got it all, I think.
This is an incredible viewpoint over Les Boucles de la Seine. Les Boucles translated into English essentially means the bends, or the the bends of the Seine. As you can see, it's a very fitting name because the Seine is kind of meandering in an S shape through this valley.
The curls, maybe.
The curls is probably a better one. Yeah, a better translation. But just a very, very, very peaceful place.
With the first couple of days over, we decided it was time to delve deeper into the works of Claude Monet. So on the way to Giverny, we stopped off at Vernon and stumbled across this old mill, which was once located on a bridge that spanned the river Seine until a flood rendered it unfit for use, and today only the supports remain. Claude Monet was a French painter born in 1840 who is considered one of the founders of Impressionism. His house is located here in Giverny and is home to many of his works that are sitting inside the very studio that he was using throughout his career. His entire house is an extension of his style, and it was such a surreal experience to see this personal insight into the man behind the paintings. He also meticulously designed his garden, which became the backdrop for many of his famous works, including his Water Lilies series, which was painted right here. Another spot Monet liked to paint is located on the coast of Normandy, and so based on the painting inside his studio, that's where we went next.
There's another 10-minute walk, you ready?
I'm ready.
Up there. You must do it.
Must do it.
But then we get a lovely view.
These are the cliffs of Étretat, and climbing this hill rewarded us with incredible views over the Normandy coastline. And as we arrived, the light began to turn golden and the cliffs looked even more mind-blowing.
So this day ends in pretty much a perfect way on the North French coastline. As you can see from the cliffs behind me, we are here, perfect timing for sunset. Well, almost another 30 minutes. It's funny though, because we can see for miles up the coastline.
The next morning marked the end of our exploration of this part of Normandy, and we began the long drive along the coast, passing some stunning bridges along the way, I must say. And of course, we had a few pretty stops, the first of which was this.
What's up, Ellie?
Nothing, I'm just walking into town.
One thing I like, instantly noticeable, every single building is so unique, even if it's just a house or yeah, it's uniquely built. It all fits together like a jigsaw puzzle.
This is the Vieux Bassin of Honfleur and the center of this lively port town. I must say we're so happy that we stopped here, and we even found a lovely place to get some crepes.
A crepe with a view.
I read on the sign that this actually was just a normal alleyway, but in 2013 they planned to construct a garden to make a passage between the two neighborhoods.
Yeah, you can still see the remnants of people's old houses. So peaceful too. I've been looking forward to this one for a long time. If you could see what I could see right now, I'm sure you could see why.
Mont Saint-Michel is a tidal island with evidence of a settlement here dating back to the 3rd century BC.
Oh, I think it's going narrower. Can I even get up? What if I get stuck?
Yeah, maybe.
Escaped.
At high tide, this island is cut off from the mainland, but as we climb the walls, we see the unique and otherworldly landscapes as the tide is at its lowest point. This is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and one of the reasons why is the 8th century abbey that sits at the peak and soars 302 feet towards the sky.
Now we're just heading down and we're going to do a lap around the Mont Saint-Michel as the tide is still out.
Our next site is located on the coast of Normandy and is a location that played a significant role during D-Day on June 6, 1944. This rugged cliff, rising approximately 100 feet above the English Channel, is located directly between the Utah and Omaha beaches and housed a German artillery battery that posed an unmistakable threat to the Allied forces attempting to land on either of those beaches below. American soldiers scaled these cliffs under intense fire and successfully captured the position. Today, La Pointe du Hoc serves as a preserved battle site and a memorial to the bravery and sacrifice of those who fought for this cliff. Next up, we're briefly hopping just over the border from Normandy into Brittany to visit Fougères. We can split our visit here into two halves. Firstly, heading down to the lower town, known for the imposing medieval fortress that is said to be one of the largest in Europe.
I just love how you can see elements of the fortress. But this city has kind of been built atop of. France is so good at making these kind of beautiful villages and integrating the old fortresses and new buildings seamlessly.
From here, we slowly climb to the top of the town. This is Rue Nationale, and at the head is a town square that used to be called Place du Brûlis, which translates to the Burning Square, as most of this part of the town was rebuilt following a large fire that destroyed most of it.
It's a vanilla one and a chocolate one.
The town is beautiful, so beautiful in fact that we found a peaceful spot and Ellie painted the picturesque town of Fougères. I just wanted to take this moment to thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you're enjoying it, and if you do want to see more from all over France and Normandy, please do feel free to click my full French playlist, which is linked here. We're always off on new adventures and we're enjoying more and more exploring France and all of the beauty spots that it has to offer. But anyway, let's continue on with the next day.
What you got there, huh?
This is my breakfast. And this will be my breakfast every morning until we live here. I think I look very French. Every morning when we get up and drive, we just see people walking around with baguettes, so now that's what we're doing.
Our first stop takes us to the iconic Bayeux, known for the Bayeux Tapestry that is held here. I couldn't film the tapestry itself, so you'll just have to take my word for it that it is incredible. At around 70 meters long and depicting William the Conqueror's invasion of England in 1066, this tapestry was made to enable people who couldn't read to understand the events. And if that wasn't enough, the town of Bayeux itself is something special.
It's very impressive. But they're always impressive. I always look at them like, yeah, that's big.
Yeah, the French built their Notre-Dame with on a scale of 11.
This cathedral was built under the patronage of Bishop Odo, who is the half-brother of William the Conqueror, and is one of the earliest Gothic cathedrals in France. The next morning we began our long drive pretty much across Normandy to our next stop, which is Paris. For our first day in Paris, we decided to head straight to some of the most iconic attractions here. And of course, no trip to Paris is complete without the Eiffel Tower.
Where are we, Ellie?
I think we are next to the Eiffel Tower, pretty
look.
much.
This was built in 1889 for the Exposition Universelle as only a temporary exhibit, but now it's one of the most recognized structures in the world. Along with this, the Arc de Triomphe. After visiting two of the most iconic sites in Paris, it was time to relax and head on a leisurely stroll along the banks of the River Seine. This walk is one thing that's truly special about Paris. The amount of open green spaces sometimes makes you forget that you're in the middle of a massive city, and that's something quite rare. We ended the day with some classic French pastries and moved on to the next day. Versailles is a UNESCO World Heritage Site that was once the home of Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette. With stunning gardens and jaw-dropping architecture, it's a truly breathtaking place. We can begin by wandering through the palace itself, including the historic Hall of Mirrors, which was where the famous Treaty of Versailles was signed, effectively ending the First World War. After getting lost in the palace and marvelling at its many painted ceilings, be sure to spend some time in the gardens. They're just as enchanting as the palace itself, especially with their musical fountain shows that play throughout the day. On this day, we headed back into the centre of Paris because today is the day to tackle the largest art museum in the world, the Louvre. You can so easily spend a full day here and try not to get lost seeing some of the iconic art on display here. continued our day by taking a short walk to the legendary Notre-Dame de Paris. This masterpiece of French Gothic architecture is still being restored after the unfortunate fire a few years ago, but you can still admire it from the outside. This entire area around Notre-Dame is beautiful. It's one of the parts of Paris that is home to some of the most beautiful architecture that we found.
Every single one of the buildings is just so unique, interesting, very Parisian. Kind of lives up to all the expectations.
We even took a short visit to this historic bookstore that has been a preferred place of writers such as Hemingway and Fitzgerald. After those few days in Paris, it was time to begin the long drive back to England. But on the way, we passed via Amiens, and how could we resist a visit to this cathedral? This cathedral is the largest Gothic cathedral in France and the tallest in the world, standing at almost 42 meters tall. And that was our final stop on this incredible road trip. On our ferry back to England, we reminisced about all the amazing things we have seen on this trip. France always seems to surprise us every single time we go, without fail, with the beautiful nature, history, and culture that you can find around every corner. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. As I said earlier, if you want to see more from France, please do click the full playlist here. I really hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful if you're planning your own road trip across Normandy soon. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.